All right, guys, this is Paul Singh, the Market Speculator. Today we're going to talk about Netflix. Netflix reported earnings after the market close. And now we're going to look at how we can potentially trade it as swing traders. Remember, we're looking at this from a swing trading perspective, not a day trading perspective or a really fast, aggressive swing trading style. We're talking about 1 or 2 days. So not intraday trading. We're talking about swing trading here. First thing we want to do is we want to know where price action is right now and where the key support levels are for Netflix. Remember, we're trying to look for low risk, high reward plays, and those are the only spots we're going to take it. So before we even talk about where the price action is right now, let's look at the key levels for Netflix. Now, we have an all-time high here of about 420. We know we're probably not going to hit that, especially where it is right now after hours. But some key levels here are the 380 range for Netflix. This becomes very important. You can see it tested it here previously, and this is about where price gapped down here. I'm guessing this was earnings as well. And this is the last time I traded earnings with this, which was right here. And that was right around 380. So we'll say this 380 to 85 range is very important. Near term, it's even more important because we did try to hit and break that 380 level right here and then pulled back. So this is going to be an important near-term range for us. Obviously, today's range, especially knowing where price action is at after hours, knowing that we've got this 359.46, we'll say 359.50, which corresponds with the 9 EMA, which is important for us, which is right around 359.50. So that's going to be an important level for us as well. So these are the two key levels to the upside that become very important to us. 359.50, we'll even say 360, and then 380. So those spots are going to give us low risk, high reward plays. Now, to the downside, for potential shorts or bounce plays, yesterday's low is, I would say, an important level. It's a near-term low, and it also corresponds with this low back here in March. So we'll say 340. It is a little higher than that, but it's at 342. A break of 342, especially a break of 340, I think sets it up for a move to the downside. We could potentially even short there. So this range break right here becomes important, not only near term here, but you can see it's been tested a few times here, both to the up and downside. So we're going to watch that level very closely. And then this range right in here around 320 to 325, potentially for a bounce. And that is where the intraday action went down to today as well. And I also don't have the 50-day moving average on this chart here. The 50-day moving average is right around 336, I believe. So that becomes an important range as well. So we need to know all these ranges. I know it's a lot, but we should know where all of these ranges are because these are potentially where we can get bounce plays and breakdowns. So we're going to be watching these levels very closely on the daily chart. Now, intraday, we see this tight range that has formed here right now between about 351, we'll even call it 350, and 360. So this 350 to 360 range is a range we want to see break. So if we were trading really aggressively tomorrow and we saw a break of 350, we could even potentially short it for a quick swing. I know I talked about that's not how we're looking at it right now, but since we see it here, we'll mention it. That 350 level could become very important. But for the long side, what I really want to see is a break of that 360 range. If we do break 360 and hold intraday tomorrow, we could potentially play that with a pretty tight stop, say 5 points, 6 points. We do have to take into account intraday volatility, which is usually around 5 or 6 points, so maybe even looser than that. But we potentially could get that move to 380. And that would give us, if we were just using 5 points, that would give us a 4-to-1 on our risk, which is very good. For every $1 we risk, we have $4 of potential profit. But now we probably want to loosen that stop a little bit again because of the intraday volatility, especially after earnings. Maybe we give it even 10 points and then we've got 2-to-1 trade, risking 1 to make 2. The best trade here is if we break that range. It's not likely to happen tomorrow, especially the way price action, unless there was some new news that comes in. Sometimes we do get interesting moves on the day after versus after hours. But let's say we watch the stock over the next week or two and it eventually breaks 380. I think that is going to be the money spot. If we can be patient and watch this thing, And we're talking about post earnings trading. That doesn't mean just trading the day of or the day after. This could be a week or two later, maybe even 3 weeks later. But if Netflix does break this 380 level, that could set up a move to 420. So let's watch this 380 level. If that breaks, who knows if it does? Again, right now it's we're at 4 points below today's close. So again, I'm not saying this is probable. So I normally get a lot of people saying, hey, we're at 355 right now. I don't think Netflix is good. It's probably going to go down. Maybe it is. That's not what we're saying now. We're not guessing. We're saying if. If it does break 380, we definitely will jump into the stock. That's probably the best trade here. So if it does recover from this post earnings, and it's not that bad right now, only down 5 points after being down a bunch here off the initial reaction. So anytime we see an initial reaction that's really bad, but then we see strength, that's a real positive. That's why I'm looking more at this 380 level right now. Again, tomorrow could set this up totally different. So now if we're to the downside, remember we talked about aggressively trading 350, but the money spot is 340. So you can see here, the two money spots, the spots that I like the best, are really breakdowns of these major ranges. And these could take a while for these things to happen. Again, it might not happen tomorrow, but have it on a watch list, watch it over the next few weeks. If we break 340, we potentially have a really nice short setup here. If we break 380, we potentially have a really strong setup to the long side. In between, while we're waiting, we can trade these tighter ranges and potentially trade those, the ones we just talked about. But if you're not comfortable trading those tighter ranges, just wait for the break of 380 for long, break of 340 for shorts.